Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me on another one of our great webinars. Our first one for 2025, our 10-figure email and SMS masterclass, where I'm going to teach you exactly how the top brands think about their email program, how they structure their email, SMS, and retention strategy to focus on building better customer relationships and unlocking the true review potential from their list. Sorry for the delay a little bit. We had some technical difficulties over here. But it's been quite an eventful, let me just move my microphone over, quite an eventful few days for me. Actually, I came back from my trip to Colombia on vacation, and we actually had some great times, and we had some challenges when we get back. But overall, it's been great, and super excited to jump into this to start the year. So thanks for bearing with me. Hopefully you can see my screen right now. Really excited to jump into this whole strategy with you. So let's get started and make sure we're running on schedule. Let's get started. Yeah, let me just confirm we're also streaming live everywhere else. And I think we should be in a perfect place. 1 second here. Okay, so let's get in. Here we go. So number one, here's what you're going to take away from today, from this exact webinar and this masterclass. So I want you to rethink everything you thought you knew about email, SMS retention. That's my goal. Really rethink everything you thought possible, re-examine it. It's beyond sending emails. We're going to really change your mindset. I'm going to share my 10-figure email, SMS, and retention strategy that triples sales in weeks, and you'll see some great case studies of that. I'm going to teach you how to send better emails and fewer emails while doubling your revenue. Key part, fewer messages, less of a footprint in the inbox. Really important. I'm going to share with you how to turn one-time buyers into lifetime buyers and profitably, above all, and how to implement this strategy in minutes, not months and years. Okay, get it done fast. That's really what we want to do. So who is this masterclass and this playbook for? It's for mainly 7 to 8 figure retailers looking to get more profits in 2025, 7 to 8 figure DTC brands and CEOs who want to scale to 8 or 9. Where we have some clients that want to scale up to the next level, sell their business or whatever they want to do, or get into a retailer, sell more. It's for founders and CEOs who really know that there's a better way out there and really say, you know what? I have a better strategy. I know what it is. I just can't get there yet. I'm not sure what it is, right? This is the masterclass for you. CMOs who want to improve customer LTV and migrations, kind of get one-time buyers to 2-time and 2-time to 3-time and consistently grow lifetime value. And it's really for brands who are serious about breaking free from that hamster wheel that you're constantly on of acquisition, running ads, getting one-time buyers, unprofitable buyers. You really want to develop a core strategy that says, here's how I turn them into lifetime customers. And if you stay until the very end, what I like to do also is give out all my content for free, because this is what we're about. We're about building better customer relationships, and we want to build relationships with brands out there and retailers out there and help them maximize the potential of their list, which is why we run webinars every single month like clockwork. I think we've done about, since our existence, maybe about 24 to 36 webinars, right? And consistently deliver content and value and then teach you how to implement it as well. I always recommend you check out my proven 10-figure email, SMS, retention strategy, my playbook right there, Ultimate E-commerce Email, SMS Playbook. And you don't just want to learn a strategy, you also want to try and implement it, where I have my Mach 10 masterclass that shows you how to implement it. If you're a really small brand or trying to get to the next level by yourself or DIY it, all good, right? There's done with you, there's done for you, and then there's DIY, do it yourself. So our Mach 10 masterclass helps you implement it as well. And here, it's new for 2025, and this is absolutely free for brands out there that really want to understand the side of retention as well. I'm going to share with you the secret to never losing an e-commerce customer ever again. That's our 2025 customer retention playbook. It shows how customer churn has really bankrupted a lot of brands in 2024 and how you can prevent it from happening to you this year. Really important to understand why customers are leaving you and what you can do about it. So this is available as well. I will send it to you at the end of the webinar. So pay attention to that. So let's talk a little bit about me just for 1 second. And I don't like to talk about myself. I like to be in the background, behind the scenes. But you should know the main thing I'm going to tell you is that I've been on your side of the table. I was the VP of retention at multiple 9 and 10-figure brands out there. I've managed customer files of 20 million subscribers or more, right? A huge amount of subscribers. I wrote a book on it. I've worked with 110 plus e-commerce brands. I've guest speaker at Blue Course Summit, eTel East, eTel West. Hopefully I'll see you guys there this year. And I've been on your side of the table. I understand the challenges you're facing. I understand that you have a list and you want to tap into the potential of it. At the same time, you want to also not consistently just acquire more emails. You want to acquire more customers, but even better, I'm going to teach you how to acquire better relationships, because it's more important to acquire relationships that will hedge against any macroeconomic challenges, against any competitors. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second, but that's my background. That's who I am. I've been on your side of the table. I understand the challenges you're going through, and you'll probably relate to my story quite a lot. So here's a great example of how I broke free from being stuck in the weeds and actually started seeing some real revenue growth for the brands I was managing. My team of 5, back when I was the VP of retention, we were just stuck in that same hamster wheel you're pretty much stuck in, right? Day-to-day campaign mindset. What are we sending today? What are we sending tomorrow? What does the calendar look like? You don't really have much guidance on what you should be sending. You're just kind of throwing something out the wall and see if it sticks. And then the next day you're doing it again, right? Last minute spray and pray, right? Someone comes over and says, we need some money. We need some revenue today, right? Let's send an email. Because email's easy, relatively easy to shoot it out there, right? It's quick, right? Quick response. But the downside is my ESP cost, my Klaviyo cost, for those on Klaviyo, I was with enterprise ESP, so it's even more expensive. But your email costs skyrocket. So any revenue you would make would be offset by your rising costs. And then what you then do is you try to think to yourself, well, maybe we should start investing in copy or creatives and this and that, and they're all just mediocre, right? And just the copy is there, and like you don't have much data to base your decisions off of, right? So you're just kind of winging it time after time after time. And the epiphany, though, what happens is that you understand that there has to be a better strategy, right? And the strategy comes down to really 2 pillars, which I then expanded into 4 pillars based on what I've seen in the market: segmentation and personalization. And that will grow your revenue while saving you time and reducing your churn and unsubscribe rate. And the mindset you need to have is you need to be able to connect with the person behind the inbox. It is not an email. It is a person. It is a human. You want to connect with the person behind the inbox. And that's how I was able to grow the brands I was managing, one specifically, from $47 million in 1 year to $73 million in 8 months. In the same year, 8 months, they grew by, that looks like about 50%, all while sending 11% fewer emails and texts. In addition, I grew a 10-figure brand from 6 million to 20 million in 12 months in 1 year. Same strategy. And that's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter if you're a 6-figure brand or a 10-figure brand, the strategy works. And now our clients grow by an average 100% to 300% in the first 90 days. So really important to understand, you can break free from the weeds. And if this story resonates with you, I've been on your side of the table. I get it. I've been there. So let's talk a little bit about what are the advantages of having a strategy, right? You're going to find that a lot of people, a lot of experts, a lot of tacticians talk about strategy, but they're really just tactics, right? And if you have a tactic, that doesn't really lend to anything. AI is a tactic. Is it a strategy? No, it's a tactic. It helps reinforce the strategy, speed up the process. Is copy a strategy? Not really. It's a tactic, right? It's part of a cohesive thing of saying I'm customer centric, right? So I'm going to go through this in a second, but having a strategy allows you to break free from the day-to-day, focus on retention goals and not just the next email. Big picture goals. You're able to make data-driven decisions because you're testing, right? You're learning, refining. You're shooting for the stars, maybe settling for the moon, right? Allow you to think big picture and be okay with, aiming, hitting a smaller milestone. You remove some of the new shiny objects from your distraction. And I have some clients that just really are obsessed with the next item and the next item, and they heard about this and they heard about that. And that's all good and well, but does it fit into the strategy? That's really the key part. It helps you hit monthly milestones and track your progress consistently. So having a strategy, very different than a tactic. And I'll show you why that's important a little later on. But the strategy part is the most important foundation, which is why we host this webinar and this masterclass in January, because you get the strategy foundation set. The whole rest of the year, you could focus on adding tactics into that strategy. But what's the downside if you keep doing the same tactics you do year in, year out? What will you face in 2025? Well, this is all part of my retention playbook, by the way. So you can also see a sneak peek at some of the data that we researched. And we did a lot of research, a lot. Number one, you'll be stuck in an unprofitable acquisition hamster wheel, just consistently chasing the next customer, even though acquisition costs have skyrocketed 60% last year. But what happens when you acquire all these new customers is that 3 out of 4 of them are one and done. So you're stuck with a customer who potentially is not going to become a repeat customer, spending all that money for someone who buys once, if you're lucky. And that's not a very healthy place to be when you are struggling to make revenue, to make money. Bankruptcies are at a 14-year high in 2024. And to start 2025, I already heard a few other brands already went bankrupt, especially retailers. They went bankrupt because they haven't cracked the code on how to get customers to buy again. And those one and done buyers are barely profitable on top of that, right? Look at it. You ran ads, you gave discounts, you gave free shipping, rewards, free returns. That little profit circle over there, right? You're left with very minimal profits on those one and done buyers. There's no margin left, right? What happens after that? Your biggest competition has more money than you. They have more to spend. So you're going to lose and fall behind your biggest competition and potentially even go bankrupt, as I showed before, right? Express, Bed Bath & Beyond all had those same struggles. I'm going to tell you another one in a second. E-commerce saw a record number of bankruptcies because brands couldn't crack the code on keeping customers loyal to them. On top of that, you really won't hedge against macro challenges if your customers keep leaving you, right? If you're just doing the same tactics, the same email strategy, you won't hedge against the macro challenges. Low consumer confidence, inflationary pressure, discount hunting, right? Right here, customers would have no problem switching to another retailer, another brand, right, to save money without that loyalty, right? If they haven't been converted into a 3-time buyer or a VIP. If you're stuck with those one and done buyers and they haven't seen the value of your brand, and you have a lot of value, I guarantee you have a lot of value on your store, right? And they're switching to another brand because you haven't gotten that loyalty. You weren't sticky enough to them. So you won't hedge against those macro challenges that you just have no control over. On top of that, if you're a retailer, you most likely have battled in 2023 and 2024 a huge, massive amount of inventory. You stocked up during COVID, and some brands, I am not joking, some brands are still battling with record sky-high inventory, and they're trying to get rid of it. And that's a drain. So you have to discount more. Discount more, that means you're getting discount buyers on your list. So that also is causing you to have a lot of more costs, a lot more lower profits in general. But here's the kicker on top of that. Harvard Business Review says that you really won't know about this churn problem until it's too late. What you may think you're facing now in January, you may say, it's okay, things are all right, it's not bad. I could always make more money. But Harvard Business Review shows clearly that you won't see your churn problem until 6 to 8 months after they start churning. So if you're going to go back in June, rewatch this webinar, rewatch this masterclass, and you say, oh, wow, yeah, well, my customers started churning. What's going on? No, they started churning back in December and January, right? Which is why we hosted now, because you won't see the impact until it's too late. And then you're scrambling. So really got to fix the foundation now. That's the really big, important part. The result, as I said before, tons of churning, unprofitable one-time customers, right? You got that one yellow guy over there. He's loyal to you, but you got 3 out of 4 of your customers churning and gone. And you don't realize that it's actually more effective and more important for you to unlock one more sale from every one of your customers instead of chasing one sale from a new customer. It's actually cheaper. So focus on the customer you have. It's a cheaper way to get another sale. As I mentioned, this is one of the retailers where you have a story behind it, right? This is according to Retail Dive, right? Wayfair, and they're still around. They're still kicking. They're one of the top 10 retailers out there. But you can look at their Wayfair. They also struggled, right? The top brands also struggle with the same challenges you have. The only problem is they have the strategy I'm about to share with you, but they struggle with making repeat purchases from their customers because it's hard to differentiate. When a customer can buy the same couch, the same credenza, the same coffee table from Walmart, Amazon, wherever else out there, It's hard to keep a customer repeating. So they have to spend more to stay on top of mind. And that's a problem, because if you spend more in acquisition and you haven't kept that customer loyal to you, there's no profits left. There is no profits left. And what happens is, like Joanne, if you're unprofitable and you continue to be in 2025, you are officially headed for bankruptcy. That's retail dive, not me. That's retail dive. So many companies have emerged over the last 4 years, boosted by the pandemic, but have faced a much harder time since the pandemic. Okay. So you really need to focus on, how do I keep my customers loyal now so I don't risk bankruptcy and I continue to be profitable? The strategy I'm about to share with you will help you get there 100%. I came from the top retailers. Like I said, I've been on your side of the table. Top 9 and 10 figure retailers. I know their challenges. I know what they've done to hedge against it. That's the bad news. Now for the good news. On the flip side, here's what happens when you implement this strategy, right? 65% higher chance of converting repeat customers than new prospects, right? It's an easier sell if they're on your list and you're just converting them again. And significantly more profitable in the long run. Repeat customers are willing to pay full price as opposed to trying to get a discount. Remember that graph where you saw like your profit margins were so small, right? Repeat customers are willing to spend more, right? And they actually become more valuable. 5% increase in retention can increase profits by 25 to 95%. Repeat customers are worth 6 times as much as a new customer, right? It's more cost effective to get a sale from a repeat customer than it is to get from a new one. It's the same. It's actually easier, right? You're nurturing that customer you have on your list rather than spending 6 times as much to get a new one. I'm not saying acquisition isn't important, very important, but invest in getting the foundation set to get those new customers to become repeat buyers. And small changes in retention lead to big profits in the long run, right? As I said before, look at that increase, that graph, right? You won't have to worry about that churn 6 to 8 months down the road if you fix it now, right? So customer lifetime value increases, repeat purchase rate increases, AOV increases, time to second purchase increases. All these are vital metrics you probably are not measuring now, right? It sometimes gets a little Greek to me as well, but it's important to know that the repeat customer is what saves businesses overall. Increasing repeat customers equals increased profits. You keep more of your customers. Remember before it was one guy. If we can get one guy to become a 2-time buyer, that's so much more profitable than chasing someone new. And it will help you create unbreakable relationships. That's the key part of the strategy I'm about to share with you. So I want to do a quick case study now just to illustrate this a little bit more and just make sure I'm not missing any questions that may have come in as well. I see Patrick said hello. Well, hello to you. So thanks for joining. So here's a quick question over here. Here's a quick case study right here that I want to dive into, which is, this is a great example of a brand that in 2022, right, it was still pretty strong post-pandemic vibe, but they were still down 41% year over year, 41% year over year. That means July from the year before was strong, but they were down and they're shrinking down, right? Down in total revenue on the store, on the site, down 41% in their email program and their SMS program. Look at that. Campaign revenue was driving 8% of the total revenue. Their flows were attributing 90%, which tells me they just weren't getting the strategy right, and they had no SMS on top of that. And they were using out-of-the-box automations. It just wasn't clicking. We came in that year in May to July in just 90 days, right? Every month we saw implement this 10-figure strategy, and it changed their game. It changed their entire philosophy, and it changed the relationship they had with their list, right? Their revenue was still down as a site, 18%, but their email revenue and now their SMS revenue was jumping 483%, okay? Email became 45% of their total revenue. And what does that mean? I'm just like throwing numbers out there. Sometimes you hear about it, 30% of revenue. You want to get to 30% of revenue. Forget that metric. What does it mean? It means that it's more predictable to you. You can plan on it, right? That's all that number means. Your email program doesn't necessarily need to be 30%, but it's a good base to say it's predictable, right? So they grew by $600,000 in 90 days. Huge jump. We upgraded their automations with this strategy, which I'm going to teach you. And we add an SMS, which is part of our multiplication phase of our strategy, right? More channels around retention, really important. And look at their campaigns and flows. They balanced out nearly 50-50 right there. And it changed their entire relationship they have with their list. So now this brand was jumping as a result of this, more profits, more sales, more revenue, and more customer relationships. Really important to remember that mindset. So let's talk about why it's time to rethink your mindset about email SMS retention and understand why are you currently failing to do this? Right? Why is it not clicking right now? Right? What is it that's not really effective with your current mindset? Well, here's long story short, and I like to distill big concepts down to really manageable bite-sized sentences, if you will. You've been told sending more emails and texts will retain your customers, right? Everyone tells you send more, send more. My LinkedIn feed is populated with experts who say send more emails, send more texts. I will never say send more. You'll never hear that out of my mouth. I'll never say send more emails or texts because I don't have a vested interest in you sending more, right? Those experts maybe do. Maybe they were a founder or a part of an ESP, or maybe they have a partnership with someone who wants them to send more, or maybe they get a credit or commission when a brand sends more emails or text messages. I don't have that, right? So that's not my. I don't have a vested interest in that. You don't need to send more. You need to send fewer, but better ones, right? Focus on sending better messages. You have that customer who's overwhelmed with the inbox right there. And that's how most brands approach their email and SMS program. That's exactly how, right? Focusing on tactics like sending more, not strategy. They focus on batch and blast, a brute force attack, right? Brute force attack, right? DeepSeek just went live and then it went down or something because of a brute force attack by everyone kind of jumping in, right? That's not a strategy. That's just overwhelming, right? And you're just kind of hoping something sticks, throwing it at the wall. And most brands do some segmentation, right? I'm going to show you an example in a second about how segmentation is done really wrong, even by some of the biggest agencies out there. And they're campaign reliant primarily, right? You ever imagine that you're just sending more campaigns and you're thinking about, oh, what's the next campaign I could send, right? That's how you approach it. Send more, do more campaigns. And you're obsessed with copy and creatives, obsessed with it. That's not the tip of the spear. The tip of the spear is the customer, right? Everything else comes under that, right? So it's not just about assessing over tactics and deliverables. It's about understanding a different mindset, because this is how most brands think. I'm going to teach you the 10-figure way right now. So it kind of looks like this, right? Send more emails and texts so you can make more money and then you'll be profitable. That's what they're telling you. And that may work 1 month or 1 year, but then your list is totally burned. I am telling you this from experience. I had a boss who told me, send more emails, right? Instead of 2 cart abandoned emails, let's make it 3 cart abandoned emails. Or they said, you know what? Instead of 3 emails a week, let's send 5 emails a week. We'll make more money. And guess what happened? That year, we made a lot of money, but very little profits because we had to pay a lot more for our email program. And the year after, it was part of my language, it was shit show, right? We could not make any money from our list because they were burned out. So you burned your list. Tell me, that's probably what you're doing right now too. Who cares if you burn the list though, right? Send more emails, send more texts. They don't care, right? They have a vested interest in you sending more. I don't. I'm here to help you build better customer relationships. And you see the top brands also do that, right? Sending more increases churn and unsubscribes. 3 emails a day from Nordstrom? Seriously? Come on. How could that approach possibly lead to better customer retention? And this isn't just Nordstrom over here. And I love Nordstrom. Don't get me wrong. I shop at them all the time. I love them. But at the same time, 3 messages a day is not going to get you to where you need to be, right? There's something broken in the communication. So here's where it starts. You need to rethink it, right? Great retention starts by reversing your marketing mindset. Reverse the order of communication. I love the Start With Why by Simon Sinek, where most experts tell you to send more. I'm going to tell you to refocus that energy in a different direction, right? Don't just think about send more so you can make more so you can be more profitable, right? Let's reverse that order of communication. He does a great TED talk on that. And the main thing is you have to start customer-centric. You got to start with being customer-centric above all and build relationships with customers digitally. So this is the mindset I'm going to share with you. Mindset of the top brands: build better customer relationships, right? The funnel's dead. We want to have the flywheel, the constantly new customers coming in, nurturing them into repeat buyers, turning them into VIPs. And then focus on, are you here to help customers or are you here to sell customers? You got to be there to help customers. You want to focus on the customer, not the sale, because one sale is good. One customer is even better because they can achieve multiple sales. And you want to have the strategy that's profitable, predictable, sustainable, scalable as well across dozens of channels. And you could do that when you have a mindset of not sending more emails, but a mindset of building better customer relationships. Now, that mindset sounds all good and well, but how do you do that? Here's how you do it. You connect with the customer behind the inbox on a one-to-one level, right? Less selling, more personalizing, less talking, more listening. Understand the journey from visit to checkout, right? Listen for their intent signals. That's really what it's about. React to what customers are telling you. Treat it like dating and courting, right? You guys are kind of having this courtship here, and you got to treat it in a different way than just sending another email and blasting out a message to their inbox. More intentional communications, right? I've talked to hundreds of brands where they say the magic is in the intention, right? And that's really what it comes down to, not sending more. So we want to build better customer relationships. The way we do that is by connecting with that person at a one-to-one level. And now, what specifically do we do? Well, the easiest and fastest and cheapest way to do that is through email and SMS. It costs pennies to send an email and text message. $38 ROI for every $1 spent, right? It's cheap, easy, quick, profitable. But the key is, if you want to connect with the person, you have to send better emails, not more emails. Send better texts, not more texts. And the quality of your message is more important than the quantity of your message. Okay. I can guarantee you one great personalized email is worth 10 unpersonalized ones. I've proven that out. And the strategy here I'm about to share with you is going to help you get there. So that mindset shift now is really important to get first, right? You got to sit down and say, wow, what have I been doing this in past year, 2 years, 10 years? What have I been doing? Have I been sending more emails and texts so I can maybe make more money and be profitable? Or have I been building better, unbreakable, and profitable customer relationships because we focus on connecting with the person behind the inbox? I can guarantee you, you're probably doing the top one when you should be doing the bottom one. And why should we be doing the bottom one? Because brands are going bankrupt by doing the top way. Brands that you know and love are doing it wrong, and the brands that you see are surviving and consistently thriving are doing it on the bottom way. Okay, so you want to focus on building better customer relationships, not on sending more. So overall, let me recap this. Reset your strategy to a retention first one. Why are we doing this? To build better customer relationships. How do we do that? By connecting with the person behind the inbox. What is the exact way to do that? By using email and SMS, because it's the most intimate yet profitable form of communication with our customers. So mindset has been shifted. We've adjusted your mindset now. Really important to get that feedback and say, wow, yeah, let's reset. I had to do this all the time. When I was VP of retention, I had to reset my team. Remind them this is kind of what we're focused on. I had to reset our CEOs, right? Our chief customer officers, right? Say, this is our mindset. This is how we approach it. And it works. You just got to make sure everyone across the board is tied into that mindset. Now that we have the mindset, let's get down to the strategy, right? This is what you came for. The 10-figure email and SMS strategy that will help you unlock the revenue potential of your list. Here's the kicker. Here's what's magical about this. It doesn't matter about the size of your list. It matters about the relationship you have with your list. So you can have a list of 10,000 members. You can have a list of 10 million members. This strategy works across the board. And that's how you scale, right? If you can scale the same strategy, no matter how big your list, all you need is more people on your list, right? So this strategy works. We just got to get, embodied, implemented, and then you just simply turn on the faucet. That's it. Let's jump right in. Okay. Again, if you got my book, you'll understand this strategy a little bit more. I've updated it slightly for 2025, but the strategy at its root, it comes down to 4 key pillars right there: segmentation, personalization, automation, and multiplication. 4 steps. Right person, right message, right time, repeat. Right person, right message, right time, repeat. That's all you need to know. Find the right person, send them the right message at the right time in their buying cycle, and repeat it for multiple products, multiple channels, multiple segments, you name it. Right person, right message, right time, repeat. Right person, right message, right time, repeat. Segmentation, personalization, automation, multiplication. I used to joke tongue in cheek that it stands for SPAM, spam. I thought that was a pretty cute one. But over time, I found people really resonate with the idea of a 10-figure strategy. And this is what it is. It's a 10-figure strategy. This is what I rolled out as a VP of retention at the 10-figure brands. So this is a 10-figure strategy. I'm giving it to you, and this is going to help your 6-figure brand, your 7-figure brand, 8-figure brand get to the next level. Here's the thing. With that 4 pillars, with those 4 pillars, 1 pillar is not enough. Most experts, agencies, and brands start with segmentation. And they tell you segmentation is the way to go. It's a place to start. And that is the starting point. That's a good starting point. I'm going to show you an example of a brand that did it really wrong, though. Segmentation is the easiest place to start, and anyone could do it, right? There's more advanced segmentation, but you can start there, right? Start with a basic one. Clickers, openers, anyone else, right? 3 segments. Start there if you don't know where to start. But segmentation without personalization is kind of pointless, right? I give a great example where I remember I told you about that, how to think about it like dating or courting, right? If I'm dating or I'm talking to someone in, and everyone relates to dating, but if I'm dating or talking to someone in Texas, it's a very different way of communicating than if I was dating someone in New York. Very different topics to talk about, different places to look at, different experiences, different backgrounds. So why would you not have personalization there, right? Someone in Texas requires a different way of talking than someone in New York, right? Someone who bought 20 items is very different than someone who hasn't bought at all, right? So segmentation without personalization is really pointless. Well, let's say you get those 2 locked in, but then you're just stuck in the weeds on the day-to-day, right? Segmenting this list, personalizing emails, segmenting the list, personalizing email. Automation helps you break free from the day-to-day. You got to take those campaigns that you've been segmenting and personalizing and automate them. So get off your plate. You know it works. So let's put it on autopilot. And multiplication phase, it helps you scale the brand for multiple product lines, right? If it works for this product, maybe it will work for this product. If it works for this brand, it'll probably work for that brand, right? And that's how you scale this strategy to multiple different products. Now you have hundreds, and trust me, I've done this, hundreds of automations running in sync, right? And they never cross over, and they're all customized to the journey. So 1 pillar is not enough. You need all 4 pillars to excel and scale. Here's what I mentioned before, right? This is a great example of this was an 8-figure brand, and I say was because this brand went bankrupt in 2024. An 8-figure brand, they were at $40 million in revenue. And I'm not going to name the agency they were working with, but they asked me to audit it. It was, unfortunately, they were a little late in their process, but they couldn't kind of get off the doom spiral, right, if you will. This agency was doing their segmentation. Look at those segments, right? All active, engaged brand advocates, all active repeat purchasers, and all non-buyers and one-time purchasers. But here's what they did. They built out all these cool segments, and then they stacked them all into the same campaign. So what's the point of a segmentation if you don't have personalization? There's no scenario where your non-buyers or your one-time buyers should be talked to the same way as your VIP buyers. They are totally different. A VIP buyer, we have a lot of data on them. We know who they are. They have a trusted relationship with us. Why would I try to sell them the same thing as someone who never bought in the first place, doesn't have that relationship? That makes no sense. So every single campaign has segmentation, no personalization, talking the same way to every single customer. Boom, 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 boom. Lazy. That's not the way it should be, right? You got to have that one-to-one relationship with their customers, and that's not how you do it. So if you're looking at your email program right now, look to yourself and say, like, am I stacking my segmentation into every campaign? Am I personalizing it at all, right? I guarantee you, most brands, they do the same thing. It's a shame. Segmentation without personalization is the fastest way to fail. Another example right here, right? We all know BlendJet, and I've been on their email list for quite a while, right? They're sending these great, gorgeously designed emails, great copy, amazing, right? Beautiful stuff. I get their email. That's amazing. But here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that pink blender. Why am I getting messages about a red blender or purple blenders? Personalized, right? Where's that personalization? They have data on me. They know what I'm looking at. They know what I'm browsing. They know what I'm searching. I think they do. If they're not, they have bigger problems, but they should know that I am looking at certain items. I should be personalized. My emails and text message and every communication should be personalized to me. And if you're not, you're missing out on a massive opportunity. So that's just the segmentation without personalization. And you could probably relate to this. A lot of brands are doing that same problem. Now, before we get into the 10-figure strategy and actually put it boots on the ground, now you know the high-level strategy. I'm going to bring it down to eye level now. Let's take a use case example. So this use case has been quoted by a lot of people out there. I've heard this on webinars and LinkedIn posts and Instagram posts about brown shoes, right? And I always use that example because it's so easy to understand, right? I sometimes use electronics also because I came from that world. But let's take an example to share with you exactly how to do it. And this is in my book as well. Let's picture this, right? And I think you should create your own case study as well for your own brand. But let's picture this. I'm a men's fashion e-commerce brand, right? Let's assume that. And I sell suits, shirts, shoes, socks, and dress apparel. Okay, easy to understand. And I want to sell this new brown Oxford shoe arrival. New brown Oxford shoe, pretty solid shoe. And we can also provide a discount of 10% off as well, if need be. Okay, so let's use that example, this use case, to apply our 10-figure strategy and really illustrate it and bring it to life. So number one, let's start with pillar number one, which is segmentation, right? Want to find the right customers, not the most customers. And before, what are you doing? You're batch and blasting to entry-level segments, or maybe you're stacking all your segments into one campaign, like you just saw from that $40 million brand that went bankrupt. Not the right way to do it. Now we're hyper-segmented, right? We're creating segments that we're going to really zero in on. We want to find the right person. And it's the 80-20 rule. In some cases, it's the 595 rule, which means that majority of your revenue will just come from 20% of your list, or maybe even 5% of your list. And I've seen that 5% of your entire email file will drive 95% of the revenue, right? So you want to find that 5%, and you want to find out who to send to and who to not send to. It's the easiest place to start, segmentation, right? As you saw before, super easy to do. But our goal is to create segments that allow you to have better personalization. Find the segments that will move the needle for you so you're not wasting emails and wasting money on your email platform, and help you reduce your costs. So that's really what we want to get to. You see two guys right here, right? They're both shopping for brown shoes. One is shopping for a different type of brown shoe, but different type of persona, right? Different type of guy. So that's where you want to start. And identifying who to talk to and who to not talk to is really half the battle. Right. And the key that I'm going to show you in a second is that we want to find incremental segments as well that you may not have capitalized on. Let me see if that's the next slide here. Yeah, this is the next slide as well. I'll zoom in a second. But whenever you're doing segmentation, it's not just enough to send an email to your engaged population, which Klaviyo loves to use engaged as a way to send. You can drill down a lot better than that. A lot better. You just need to know how, right? So we want to find out who to send to and who to not talk to. Right? And you got to think a little outside the box and use the data at your fingertips. I'm going to give some examples now of what that would look like, right? So here's some sample segments, right? Let's look at the top row. You can see, who should these brown shoes be sent to? Okay. Well, people who bought brown shoes in the past. Maybe people who bought brown shoes over 90 days could use a new pair. Maybe people who are browsing shoes right now, right? Pretty good segment. They're looking at shoes right now. Perfect time. And then also maybe an engaged population, people who are actually engaging with your email program, right? That makes sense. Let's go deeper. Let's look at the middle row. Well, remember we said in our use case, this is an apparel brand. They're a fashion brand. So they also have people who bought blue suits. As we know, according to GQ, last I read, people who wear blue suits love brown shoes. So that's a good segment to tie into as well. Or maybe we find people who bought monk straps, right? Maybe they add to their collection. You bought a monk strap, now complete the look with your Oxford. Or maybe people who bought a black Oxford. right? Maybe they could use a brown Oxford, right? So now we're thinking a little outside the box now, right? We're thinking a little more deeper into our segmentation. Let's go even deeper. Maybe we send these shoes to our full price buyers or our discount buyers, right? Because again, remember you said before in that use case, we have 10% off. We could use it, but we shouldn't be giving it to our full price buyers because they'll pay full price. Why am I sacrificing margin? Maybe we give it to our high LTV buyers, people who have high lifetime value. They'll buy anything we put in front of them because they're super loyal. And then finally, maybe we find an Oxford affinity list. People who have viewed, browsed, carded, started checkout, active on site, searched for Oxfords in the past 30 days, 90 days, whatever it may be. That's what we call an affinity segment. Maybe we find those. So now we're starting to think about different segments we can use that not only are good for converting, but also add incrementality to our original mindset. Okay. So even though segmentation is the easiest place to start, there's always deeper segments to go to see if they add some incremental value to your program. Okay. So that's how we think about segmentation. You can build out all huge amounts of segments, but that's only step number one. Okay. Segmentation is a starting point, but far from enough, right? I'm going to show you an example, right? If you're sending a segment to that high LTV buyer and you're treating them the same as someone who is a browsing shoes, it's very different. You still need a little bit of nuance in that message, right? So saying the wrong thing to the right person is even worse. That's where personalization comes in. Pillar number 2, personalization, sending the right message to them, right? We've identified the segments, right? You see different people here, and now we're going to send them the right message. Remember, right person, right message, right time, repeat. Right now, we're at the right person, right message stage. So segmentation and personalization is where you find the money. That's where you see the real revenue come in. Before, you would probably send the same email to the same bunch of segments, right? And we stack them in like that $40 million brand that went bankrupt. Now it's one segment, one personalized message. One segment, one personalized message. Really important to remember that. And now you're not talking at customers. You're listening to them and reacting to it. And one personalized message, like I said before, equals 10 average ones. So if you get this right, this could be worth 4, 5, 10 mediocre emails that you come up with, right? National Try On Your Shoe Day, right? Who does that, right? So you want to focus on one personalized message because you'll make more that way. And personalization goes way beyond just using first name in your subject line, right? That's not what personalization means. It's a good that you have that entry point, but that's not what it means. It means knowing your customer data. And here's some types of personalization you can be using, all based on my use case: gender, language, shoe size, right? What are they browsing in shoe size? What color are they browsing? Location, free shipping, or buy online, pick up in store. That's BOPIS right there. Buy online, pick up in store. We can personalize with their rewards or loyalty data. We can personalize what they're looking at right now and items related to what they're looking at, right? On top of that, you can also have more personalization, not just on the customer level, but also on the campaign level, which would be more personalized copy, tone, creatives, a linking strategy, better recommendations, predictive. All that can be personalized to the subscriber, to the segment that we built out before. Let's dive into some examples of how to put that into action. Well, before I get that, here's the kicker though. Personalization is extremely hard. It's hard, which is why no one does it. Remember that agency with that $40 million brand that went bankrupt? Well, it's too hard to do personalization, so they didn't do it. Therefore, the brand went bankrupt. You don't want your brand to suffer that. Yet 85% of customers demand personalization. They're giving you their data and expecting you to use it correctly. They're trusting you with it, so use it, right? With great data comes great responsibility, according to Spider-Man, right? So, or they'll shop elsewhere. At the end of the day, they'll shop elsewhere, right? So you can see right here that the more deeper personalization, the harder it gets to really make it, really hard. It gets more expensive, right? It gets challenging, yet it's so valuable to make it happen. And that's where the strategy comes in. It says, you know what? You have a better way of doing things because no one else is doing it, right? So let's give a quick example of how to put this into play. So personalizing for blue suit buyers. Remember the segment we built up before? People who bought blue suits. So I want to sell these shoes to people who bought blue suits. So now let's personalize this entire campaign top to bottom. So let's start from the subject line, right? If the segment is blue suit buyers, we want to say just in the perfect shoe for your blue suit. Your blue suit's latest accessories now on sale. Copy is written for blue suit buyers overall, addressing their needs and wants. The designs are related to the blue suit. Look at all these designs on the right. And these are just mock-ups in Canva that we created, but you can see the designs are personalized to them. The user-generated content, the reviews, and the email are personalized to a blue suit. The algorithmic-driven recommendations, in case they don't want that one, in case they want something related to what they bought in the past, they're all driven based on this person who bought a blue suit. You can use rewards on here if they have. You can use pick up in store if they're local, right? So all these different personalization elements are all custom made to a segment of blue suit buyers. So that blue suit buyer now looks at these images and say, yeah, I could see myself in this shoe. I can see myself, right? A lot more relevant, a lot more intentional, more listening, segmentation and personalization working together. Let's do another example. Remember we built out a segment of full price buyers versus discount buyers? Right? Here's a great example. Remember, I could give 10% off on this shoe if I wanted to, but I'm not going to for this full price buyer because I could send them this email right here and say, new arrival, the perfect Oxford shoe. I'm personalizing the email to this full price buyer. First look, your new favorite Oxford, right? No mention of 10% off. Copies written without any discounts or offers, more aspirational. Designs exclude offers or discounts. User-generated content is all dedicated to rave reviews from happy customers, maybe 3-time buyers or VIP buyers. Algorithmic-driven products are full-price products, right? And you can use additional options to personalize as well. So all this is coming into our full-price buyers template, segmentation and personalization. But then we'll talk about discount buyers, people who are buying at a discount. What do we want to do with them? Well, then we know that they won't buy full price. Then we highlight the discount. Okay, so now we feature our new Oxford 10% off, early access 10% off our new Oxfords. Copy is written with discounts or offers, addressing their needs and wants. Designs do play up the discounts. The items in there that are related to that are picked for them that are discount based. Algorithmically driven sale products. So now we're talking to that discount buyer a lot differently than I would a full price buyer, and a lot differently than I would a blue suit buyer. So here's how it looks, right? Segmentation and personalization. The blue suit buyer sees items, the pictures, the graphic, the creatives related to their blue suit. Again, just a mock-up in Canva. The discount buyer sees 10% off, and the full price buyer she sees new arrivals, a totally full-priced item right there. That's how we're using segmentation and personalization. This is how the top brands are doing their email program. And you have the capabilities of doing the same exact thing. You just got to get the mindset shift and the strategy. So you can see exactly how they're thinking about it. Is it an overnight thing? Depends on your brand. But as you can see, it takes more effort, it takes more energy, it's more understanding. And that's why we help brands do it, because we understand how to fast track it and get it done quicker. Segmentation and personalization at scale right here. Great personalization means more trust, sales, and profits. Your emails got higher engagement. You prevent unsubscribes and reduce your churn, right? Because each email is personalized to the segment. Everything resonates with the right segment overall. I want to give you a quick real results here, right? Again, this is just a Canva mockup. I keep saying I got to put in the real creatives here as well, but this is a great example, right? In the past, we all do, let's say, a one-day sale, flash sale, let's say, right? So this 9-figure retailer running a one-day sale on their products, and they used to do a VIP exclusive one-day sale, and we sent it out to a pretty solid list. We call it our engaged segment, 617,000 emails right there, and it made $109,000 in revenue. Not bad, right? That's our static batch and blast version, not too bad. Using this segmentation and personalization strategy and using what we call our C4 design playbook, which is how we handle copy, creatives, design, and conversion, we crafted personalized creatives for every segment. So an Apple buyer sees an Apple-related graphic. A Nikon buyer sees a Nikon-related graphic. A Canon buyer shows a Canon-related graphic. And all personalized to the user and a couple other segments there. What happened when you dedupe the segments and you kind of separate them? You realize there's actually half the emails, right? We sent the email out to 288,000 subscribers, 50% fewer. We made $190,000 in sales, 70% more revenue. Fewer emails, more revenue, just from segmentation and personalization, right? You save costs, you make more money, more profitable, customers love you for it. What's the downside? No downside. Just got to implement it. Real results. I've tested that out across about 8 to 10 campaigns, proven it out in my 10-figure strategy, and now we do it for all our clients. But that's not enough. Remember I told you before, just focusing on campaigns and segmenting and personalizing campaigns is not enough. You got to break free from the weeds. You got to start automating the winners. And how do you automate the winners? You got to test, number one, but you got to start listening, right? Before, we were stuck in the day-to-day campaigns. Now we're automating our best performers. Now we have segmentation and personalization at scale. I want to take a great example here where you may be running a new arrivals email, right? Every month, let's say, for example. Let's prove out which new arrivals strategy works using segmentation and personalization. Once you get the creatives, the copy, the subject lines all locked in and you've tested it over 8 campaigns, let's say, then automate it. Done. It's on the way, right? You never need to touch it again. And the money is in the follow-up, right? Whenever you're automating emails, like an abandon, cart abandon, checkout abandon, the money is in the follow-up. So really just making sure that you're automating your process, really important pillar of your 10-figure strategy. Listening to signals and reacting to it are really important because you go from annoying people in the inbox, right? Haranguing people to actually helping people, making sure that you are helpful whenever you send them. You have an intention when you send them the message. Stop guessing, start listening, right? Really important whenever you're automating stuff, listen for indicators. It could be the right time of day, AM hours or PM hours, East Coast, West Coast. Understand and listen when the right time of interest, 30 minutes after cart abandon, hour after browse abandon, 2 hours after site visit, whatever it may be, right? Find out the right time to send it and the right time in their buying cycle. When is the right time to upsell them those brown shoes to my blue suit? 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? Automation helps you find that. And replenishment times. When will people replenish? 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, right? Find that right time. Automation helps you do that. And on top of that, predictive. You can use predictive to find out when they have a propensity to come back and engage with your message or buy again. And if you don't know, you can always ask, right? That's what a beautiful SMS survey does. So automation allows you to stop guessing and start listening and reacting to what they're doing. So let's go back to our use case here, right? So someone who browsed a brown shoe, and this is kind of a basic understanding here of a browse abandon automation. If they're looking at a brown shoe, right, we want to follow up in the right time, wait a certain set period of time and follow up with them, right? But you don't know what creatives really work unless you test in your campaign using segmentation and personalization. Once you prove it out, you put that graphic up there, right? Let's say that one was a winner. You put that 10% off graphic in there and you launch it out. And now automatically you have a lot more customers coming in using automation 24/7, 365, right? So now you have a browsed brown shoes workflow that will convert at a ridiculously high level. And it breaks free from the day-to-day campaigns you're sending. Let's look at the blue suit buyer's upsell, right? That blue suit buyer you had, right? Before you would send them a campaign using segmentation and personalization. Really good. But eventually, over time, you got to automate that. Automate that process. Take that great graphic you had, the one you've tested. Take the subject line you've tested. Take the preview text you've tested. Take the URL you've tested, right? And then send them, put that into an automation. So at that certain window, they bought a suit. You wait 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever it may be, whatever you've tested, and you send them the winning graphic, the winning campaign you had before. And that's how you turn it into an automation. You turn it into autopilot. That's what the top brands are doing. The emails and the campaigns you see in your inbox most likely have been automated out. And that's the magic behind it. They're not stuck in the day-to-day weeds. All they're doing now is looking at the data, testing, refining automations, right? Because it's all automated. The money is in the follow-up because it's personalized. Automation speeds up your learning much quicker so you know what customers love or hate. much faster than doing a day-to-day campaign. If I was to send out that new arrivals campaign for the shoe, I have some learning on it, but that wouldn't necessarily help me for the next campaign 6 months down the road, right? I need to learn faster. I need to understand what's the great graphic, what's the timing, what's the segment, what's the personalization for that segment, and that's how you automate it out correctly. So we talked about 3 pillars so far: segmentation, find the right person, right? Go granular on your segments. Step number 2, personalization. Personalize your graphics, your creatives, your URL, your copy, your subject line, everything to the segment. Step number 3, automate the winners. So it's running every single day on autopilot. And now for number 4, multiplication. We've been talking all about those brown shoes up there, you see right there. But now you can actually use this to multiply it for black shoes or belts or suits or whatever else is on your product line. Okay, now imagine that amazing brown shoe automation is now running for every single product in your collections, right? In your business. And you may have 1,000 SKUs, you may have 10,000 SKUs. Imagine automation for every single product. You're not going to get there overnight, trust me, but imagine what that would do to your business. Huge. We expand and multiply the automations using this multiplication phase. You go from sending to journeying, right? Very important. You go from sending to journeying. Now you have a journey. For any time someone comes and looks at an item here, there's a journey for that. You have a journey for this product. You have a journey for that product, a journey for this segment. And you replicate your top performing automations. On top of that, the multiplication phase doesn't just focus on creating more automations, it also helps expand your existing automations. So instead of just doing an email cart abandon, you could do an email and SMS cart abandon. Instead of doing an email and SMS cart abandon, we could do email, SMS, push notification, Facebook ads, Google ads, customer service follow-up, all in one, multiplying the channels they used to have. That's the multiplication phase, right? You layer in additional channels. And you can isolate this strategy by using different products, different brands, different segments, cohorts, channels, you name it. So there's a lot of opportunities within the multiplication phase. And the best part of all, always be testing. Always have testing running across the board so you learn more about what's working. Let me give you some examples about that right now, so it's not too high level, right? We know that people who browsed brown shoes, we have a whole workflow and journey for them. All you need to do then, duplicate that winning workflow for your black shoes. Duplicate it for your red shoes or your white shoes or any other collection or product that you want to do it for, right? Because you've tested out, you know what works, and it could easily be scalable, okay? Here's the black shoe multiplier, right? The same way you had set up for the brown shoes, you could do the same with the black shoes. Find the right person for those black shoes. Well, looks like it's a gray suit buyer. Right? It's not a blue suit buyer. It's a gray suit buyer. Create the right message, right? We know the structure of our email, but we don't, you could test out a little bit more about it if you want. Find the winners, the ones with the trophy, and then you automate it, okay? Same process, but it's much simpler now because you've done all the heavy lifting for the brown shoes one. All you're doing is duplicating it for your black shoes. We could do the same with a pea coat, right? Find the right person for that message. Personalize the email to them. Find out the segmentation and personalization, and then automate it. Now you have 3 automations running concurrently for different journeys anytime someone looks at one of your product, anytime someone buys one of your product, anytime someone, whatever it may be for their product. That's how you multiply this strategy up across the board. On top of that, as I said before, right, you can multiply the impact of your email program and your SMS program by adding more channels. Before, right, you would have a standard email cart abandon, right? Now, using this structure, you can add an SMS. Send them an SMS if they don't open the email. If they don't open the email and they don't even open the SMS, send that data over to your customer service. You can actually pick up the phone and call them. And these are what the top brands are doing. I'm not saying you may have an option to do that. I know some apps that actually can do that for you, but you can pick up the phone and call them. You could send that data over to Facebook and Google and run retargeting ads on them, right? All within one automation. That's multiplying your automation up beyond just sending messages. You're building better customer relationships, right? Very important, very different. So that is pretty much how you approach our 10-figure strategy, right? Before, You had basic segments mixed into one batch and blast campaign, right? High lifetime value subscribers are treated just like new subscribers. It's the quickest way to destroy a relationship, right? Destroy your brand. You want to have a defined relationship with every single customer. So before, you were stacking all your segments into one. After, you see right here, customers are treated like people, right? And you send one segment, one message. That's how you get 10% click rates, 13% click rates, 8% click rates, while you're still hovering around your 0.5% click rates, right? Segmentation and personalization, right? You treat them differently. Before, you had zero or little personalization in your messages, right? BlendJet, nothing personalized to me. You just want to send out campaigns, right? A nice little email here. Looks gorgeous. Just not for me, right? It's a gorgeous looking email, just not for me, right? But now, after personalized messages on a one-to-one level, you see your reward points. For those that don't have rewards, we invite them to rewards. One segment, one message, right? One segment, one message. Not every segment gets the same message. Segmentation and personalization, all personalized to them. Before, you had basic abandoned automations, all centered around email. Send more email, right? Like I said, not the way to do it. You don't need to send more email. You need to send better communications, right? They make everything about email. Those experts and freelancers make everything about email instead of thinking about the customer journey. After, all channels working in unison to retain your abandoners. Everything's working in sync, harmonious. All channels working in unison, right? More profitable, more cohesive, more orchestrated. And you all solve your retention goals together. Let's recap that strategy right there, that 10-figure strategy, right? Segmentation, personalization, automation, and multiplication. Right person, right message, right time, repeat. Right person, right message, right time, repeat. Right? That's the key. You gotta zero in on the strategy behind it. And like I said before, this works for 5-figure brands, 6-figure brands, 10-figure brands automatically, because it's not about the list size. It's about the relationship you have to your list. And you will unlock the true revenue potential of your list by using this strategy. Let's prove it out though, right? Here's our 10-figure strategy case studies and success stories right here. Here are the results you can actually expect. And I kind of dove into some of them. I'll dive into this really quickly here. This 9-figure retailer went from $47 million to $73 million in 8 months. Look at the results here. We delivered 11% fewer emails, made 54% more revenue. Orders jumped by 41%. Conversion rate jumped by 33%. AOV was up. What was down? Opens. Who cares? Because the clicks were there, right? Every relationship starts with a click. That's another one of my key lines. Every relationship starts with a click. I care about the click, not the open, right? So the clicks drive the revenue, drive the orders, drive the business forward, because it's a personalized communication. Every relationship starts with a click. And what are we on a mission to do? Not send more emails. We're on a mission to build better customer relationships. This 10-figure retailer went from $10 million to $29 million in only 12 months. December 2021, they were at 10 million, didn't have much of a strategy, kind of were doing whatever their merchants were telling them, kind of sending messages, maybe a weekly newsletter. Boring. Batch and blast, one size fits all, spray and pray. Came in with the strategy, then we started building a relationship with their subscribers, right? Revenue jumped from 6% of total revenue to 12% of total revenue, becoming a little bit more predictable, right? And their just relationships were better. And in 1 year, December 2022, they were making $29 million during the Q4 weekend, during the Q4 quarter, as opposed to December 2021. Better relationships unlock the true lifetime value, the true potential of the list. 8-figure retailer right here went from $112,000 a month in email SMS revenue to $354,000 in 90 days, tripled their email revenues in just 90 days, just by putting the customer at the center of the communication. We came in when it was $112,000 in revenue every single month. 3 months later, $354,000 in revenue. Right? It's all about the strategy. That's what it comes down to. 8-figure brand I showed you before. Not going to revisit this one, but yeah, total sea change. And this is year over year. Same campaigns, same lists, same offers, right? Just a different strategy the next year. That's how you unlock the potential right there, right? Became the fastest growing channel for this brand and became more profitable, predictable, and sustainable. Great reviews for this 10-figure strategy. I'm not going to go through that, but you can always look at our website to kind of see some of the reviews for this strategy and why it works for brands of your size, brands like yours, retailers and DTC brands. Specifically, also retailers benefit from this really well because they have such a huge product assortment. I'll be honest, if you have 1 or 2 products, this may not be a fit for your brand. There may be a different strategy there. But if you have 20 products or more, we're talking this will really benefit your business. So now for the last part. What's stopping you from doing this? Why is your brand failing to get this strategy going, right? You've been in business for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Why are you failing to get this going? What's holding you back? Because you probably know about it. You probably said, yeah, there's probably a better way. I've been segmenting a little bit, maybe personalizing some emails. I know there's a better way. I have my automations turned on, right? What's stopping me from getting to the next level? Let me tell you what's stopping you. Number one, there's no time in your day. You're unsure of what the potential could be. Maybe you're obsessed with vanity metrics, right? About your open rate and your click rate. Okay, those are good metrics, but there's also some vanity behind it. Maybe you're trying to hold on to customer control, but the number one reason your brand is not taking this type of strategy and implementing it for yourself is that you don't understand the marketers you're dealing with, okay? There are 3 types of marketers, and I know this because I, as a VP of retention, I used to hire agencies, freelancers, and marketers. And some of them were just burned me, right? It's just like my list was burned from it, right? You have number one, you have Joe Freelancer, who makes everything about a tactic. The copy is really what it's about, okay? Or the creative is what it's about. Or it's about the execution, right? And you have Joe Freelancer working for you. Or maybe you have an email marketer who's obsessed with making everything about email. Turn that off. Let's turn on email. Turn this off. Make it about email. I'll take the credit for this because it's my email program, right? That's the email marketer. And then you have the retention experts who are experts in all things retention and building better relationships with your customers. Obviously, I think you know which bucket I fall into, but you don't really have a true strategist to help you expertly implement this strategy, right? You're hiring freelancers who are all about copy, or creatives, or just glorified coders, right? Or just have a basically entry-level understanding of retention. And they're a dime a dozen. You can find them anywhere. Or maybe you're hiring entry-level email marketers who, again, make everything about email. It's all about email. Send them more, send them more, send them more. They'll just burn your list, right? And they're non-experts in customer retention. You need an actual retention expert who's been boots on the ground, understands how to build better customer relationships. Really important distinction there. And don't just take my word for it. This is what some of the brands I've talked to have mentioned. This one, this client found a freelancer on Upwork, realized she was wasting her time really quickly, right? She needs someone that had a plan, not a freelancer who excelled in a tactic. Or here, another agency would experiment on the list. These email marketer agencies that would experiment on your list. They don't have a plan. They're seeing what works. I can't afford that. Right? This client can't afford to do that and experiment on their list, lose their customers and burn them for good. Or maybe you have email marketers that just never built that foundation, the retention foundation you need to build better customer relationships, right? These are not me talking. These are all brands out there that have the same struggles you have. And they realize when this strategy came along, this was game changing for them, right? Because it built the foundation. So really important to know that majority of things holding you back are the team members involved with you, right? The ones that are email marketers or freelancers, and they're out there. There are huge amounts of them. What you need is the 5% of retention experts that will move your business 80% of the way, right? Rare gems, major results. That 5% of retention experts will move your business massively forward. And this 10-figure strategy shows you a preview of what that looks like. Retention experts unlock the true revenue potential of your customers because they have real-world experience, zero guesswork, proven frameworks. I'm not going to go deep into every single thing here, but at the end of the day, they treat your customers like ours, and they've built it. They have the foundation, right? And that's what we pride ourselves on, that we've actually spoken on it, presented it, got it done, right? You see me at e-tail right there. We won an award on it. We prioritize your customers above all, and we know how to unlock the potential of your list. Goes way beyond freelancers, way beyond email marketers who want you to send more. So let's recap this webinar. I think we went over time a little bit, got started a little late, but thank you for being here still. So let's recap. I've shared some market data on the critical importance of changing your mindset for email SMS retention. I revealed a proven 10-figure email SMS retention strategy that will scale your brand. Doesn't matter the size of your list. It matters the relationship you have with your list. I've shown you how to go from segmentation to personalization, automation, and finally multiplication, and the results you can expect over a very short time period. Very short. Imagine this. Imagine a totally different business 8 months from now. Imagine that window, right? Or 3 months from now, or a year from now. Totally different relationship you have with your customers. I've helped you identify what's holding you back, right? You got your Joe freelancer, makes everything about copy or creatives or coding. You have your email marketer who's just kind of like, send more, send more, send more. And then you have your retention experts who actually want to build a relationship with your list. And I'm sure you want to build a relationship with your customers too. And now I'm about to share with you how to fast track your brand immediately to start 2025. Right? This is what brands right now, just like yours, and retailers are just taking on right now. I've seen it myself. Here's to implement this strategy in minutes. Let's get started. Time to start 2025 off profitably, avoid bankruptcy, and keep your customers for a lifetime. Our offer to you, we run your email and SMS retention program, and we do SMS for free, entirely for free, right? Why? Because it's a relationship we're about. We're about building relationships. So if we can manage your email program on your behalf, which we have dozens of brands working with us, managing their email program, we will do your SMS program for free because it's about the relationship. You get 2 customer-centric channels for the price of 1. Really, that's really the magic of it, right? 2 channels working at a 10-figure level for your brand, game-changing in 2025. Here's just a quick example of what SMS adds to your brand that's totally incremental, right? This brand was at $151,000 a year in revenue, and they had SMS at $1,200 a month. They added this 10-figure strategy we had for them. They're now at $12,000. They made $20,000 in the most recent month I checked from SMS. Totally additive. They grew SMS from 1K to 12K a month in 90 days. And this is great. Huge retailer really doing great from another channel while also simultaneously killing it on email. 2 channels, 2 10-figure strategies. Another one here turned on SMS with us, went from 0 in SMS to 20K a month in 30 days. Done, right? Huge increases for their channel because they have 2 channels running at a 10-figure level. Really great to see those results. Proven frameworks, 0 guesswork, right? We implement every single strategy I myself have tested on the top brands. I'm bringing those strategies down to your brand, implementing it for you, and it will help you keep your customers, build better customer relationships, and reduce your churn really quickly. On top of that, not going to go too deep into this, but yeah, any vendor you have that we can help with your relationship, we add that to the point. Remember I mentioned that multiplying your cart-a-ban and getting some vendors to call your cart-a-ban is for you. We have a relationship with an app that does it, right? We have apps that allow you to build better relationships with your customers. And that's what we're about. We center everything around the customer, and anything that helps build that relationship in a better way is exactly what we provide expert guidance on. So you don't have to, no guesswork, right? Only a proven framework, because it's not just about the channel, not just about sending emails or texts. It's about building relationships, and it's a journey. I invite you to book a free email and SMS and retention expert audit. We'll go deep into your brand, show you where the gaps are, what you're doing well, where there's room for improvement, how to close the gap, what that revenue gap looks like to you when you do close it, what the potential looks like, and put that plan in place, that 10-figure strategy I just shared with you, into action on your behalf. You can see Craig right here said most audits were just mediocre. Mediocre. When you saw our audit, really take them to the next level. That was an 8-figure brand right there. You can also scan this QR code to watch an audit in play. This will show you how I unlocked $200,000 for an 8-figure retailer in just 15 minutes. Really insightful. So you see how we do this. And this could be a really great, way to understand how our audit would look for your brand too. Highly recommend you get this free audit and start implementing this 10-figure strategy this year at the very beginning of the year, instead of waiting till June or July when your churn rate has already happened. Remember that graph from Harvard Business Review. This is Harvard talking, not me. Harvard's way smarter. Before audit, this brand was making $107,000 in revenue. After audit, we showed them how to make that $600,000 revenue jump that I showed you again in the past screen. Finally, as I promised, you can go to highflyerdigital.com/book and get all our 10-figure email SMS retention playbooks. your behalf, just book a call and we will send this right over to you totally for free. All our playbooks, you can learn them and read them. But I found whoever likes to learn and consume content usually never gets a chance to implement it, right? You could just consume it and never implement it. I think you're more of a doer, not a reader, right? So let's be the one to actually do and take action, not just consume content, but you could always go to highflydigital.com/book and put this into action. Thank you so much for being here and giving me a few extra minutes right here. As I mentioned before, this is our 10-figure email SMS strategy. It's how the top brands build better customer relationships with their list using segmentation, personalization, automation, multiplication, and thereby grow by 100%, 300% every single year like clockwork. It's time to break free from sending more emails and sending more texts and focusing on tactics and just letting customers churn and go up, gaining them from the front door and letting them go out the back door. It's time to start building relationships with your list. Scan the QR code, book a free audit, and I'll show you how we can implement that 10-figure strategy for you, done for you, absolutely free. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next webinar. Have a great one.